Hi, it's Carolyn Jaymes. How are you all? So over the past few months, people have connected with me to find out what is happening with the walk-in process and where we are between myself and Jay and this loved one coming back to me. And to be honest, I've been hesitant to actually answer because, well, it's kind of a mess and we are stuck. So in the interest of full disclosure, to those that have read the book or are following our story, I will share with you some things about the walk-in process that I have learned and where we are now. And I'll do this with complete truthfulness and no filters. So I'm going to read this because there's a lot of points to it. And I'll also attach it as a document. If anybody wants to take a look at it again, there's a lot here. But I thought, let's just get it out there and answer the questions. So here we go. Here are some of the bullet points. Jay was not always in the vessel with Tom. So the vessel that Jay walked into, who is my current physical husband on this earth plane, just so you know what that is. So psychics and mediums have told me time and time again that this was true, that Jay was always in there. It was not true. I sometimes thought it was Jay that was speaking to me while it was actually Tom. And sometimes I thought it was Tom when it was actually Jay. This was very confusing. Since Tom and Jay are both strong souls, it became like a tug of war and bickering started. And between the two of them, for their own good reasons, it did not matter that the contract was signed on the other side. It didn't matter if it was signed or not. These two souls simply could not get along. I found out that the contract between the two could still be broken or changed depending on the change of free will of either one of them. So it was not set in stone after all, as I thought it was. The realization for the one soul to come into a vessel, the other soul must die. Please understand that. For the realization of one soul to come into a new vessel, the soul in that vessel must die. It was not honorable for psychics and mediums to not explain this to the waiting loved ones still alive here on earth. I've heard stories upon stories about this. To want a soul to die for another to take over the vessel, unless it was truly time for that soul to die. I think people have been led on about that. If it's time for that soul to die, to truly die, that's another story. A true walk-in of this nature, of loved ones coming back, would no longer have all the memories of the vessel, but a kind of amnesia, almost, it would seem, and that only the cellular memory in the vessel will be left. Cellular memory. Often childhood. The memories of the one walking in is important to be there. Even if step by step, memory by memory, it's coming back in place of the old soul's memory. There are way too many walk-ins of the other kind, the alien or galactic ones, lots of them out there. Those are totally different than the walk-ins of loved ones that passed, wanting to come back to be with the loved ones they left behind. They're different animals. The walk-ins of this other type are only sometimes true, and sometimes sadly are fake, but manipulated by the unscrupulous seeking fame and fortune. I know we've all seen that. Some are only psychological changes, but misunderstood to be a walk-in, and some are just more enlightened and misunderstood as a walk-in. A walk-in is a form of possession. It's just a different kind of possession. Walk-ins can be temporary, like possessions, or they can be permanent. Sometimes we believe a walk-in of a passed away loved one is manifesting in our current loved one out of our own loneliness, out of our own sadness, by our minds playing tricks on us out of our heart's loneliness, and we just wanting it to be so. But this is not actually the truth. A full soul exchange is needed for this type of loved one walk-in. A full soul exchange is needed. It is needed to be that way for it to be a true walk-in, not a soul merge, not a soul braiding. Temporarily, it may seem only while the cell memories are being cleansed out for the walk-in's memories to come back into the vessel. It is needed to be that way for it to be a true walk-in. If all original memories only of the vessel are intact and none of the walk-in's memories are present, then the walk-in never truly happened. It just didn't work. In my personal story, Tom and I are divorcing. So Jay can come back in another vessel. The original way we tried simply did not work. And here we are years later, finally realizing it. So for this to become honorable, Tom and I are divorcing here. Jay will find another vessel. There are too many people out there made to believe by others, or even by themselves, that they themselves or their loved ones are walk-ins by unscrupulous psychics or mediums that are actually only about fame and fortune, the next big interesting thing going on. They may also just want to soothe over the matter to supposedly help heal, while they're not actually helping. This is happening while the loved ones of the walk-in here on earth are waiting for their loved ones to come back, and are waiting and waiting as if for a dangling carrot they can't catch, with intense frustration and sadness. This happened to me for almost a decade. And I can't begin to tell you how many psychics and mediums had no clue as to what was actually going on. And I waited, hoping for years. I was led on by people I really believed I could trust, and now I know I could not. Sadly, it is apparent that psychics and mediums seldom work together with witches, and thus actually lessen the effect of manifesting. I hope we can do something about that. Too many psychics and mediums filter out and change that which they should actually only channel, whether it makes sense to the channeler or not. For it might make perfect sense to the one they are reading for, but it doesn't make sense to the channeler, so they filter it. That has to stop. The third eye is so misunderstood as the third eye chakra instead of the sixth sense. So many don't understand this, that the sixth sense has to work with the other senses as well. I would love to find a true practitioner that can truly open the third eye fully through a ritual. I've been looking for a long time. Nothing has worked, but I know it can be done. Where are the ones that truly get this? Lucid dreaming, astral projection, OBE astral travel, shamanic journeying are all different things, no matter that they have some similarities. Also, non-recreational drug-induced ones are real. Where are the true hands-on teachers that can teach this and the difference, and that don't hold someone hostage by charging them an arm and a leg? How about getting some results first? I agree everyone needs to get paid, but some of this is truly getting out of hand. So, this is what I believe. And this is what I know to be true. I would like to humbly and sincerely ask for the real and true practitioners, psychics, and witches that understand these truths to come forward, to together create a safe haven for those that truly believe and understand. Enough chaos already. Enough. Can we please help each other and find the true psychics, mediums, and witches that can actually help in any way or form for loved ones to be able to come back again in this lifetime, if it was meant to be? And often it is. I know they're out there. I believe we can make this happen. A safe haven needs to be led by the true psychics, mediums, and witches that are really knowledgeable, capable, and willing. Those three pieces are so important to help and perform without charging a ridiculous amount of money and holding someone hostage that has a broken heart or taking advantage of their grief. I've seen that time and time again. This too is needed to fulfill the greater purpose of the walk-ins coming back. It's not a gravy train. Let's do this with honor. There's one more important point that I would like to add. People should stop telling the loved ones awaiting the walk-ins to move on. Those that say this have not truly experienced the intense grief and sadness. It's debilitating, the depression, the complicated grief. Please stop pretending to know better and to judge how it should be for those fighting to survive through it. You actually should embrace these hurting ones out of a loving, humane reasoning, instead of shunning and judging them only as unstable. And do not mistake them for those that, out of psychological need or intention of fame or fortune, fake themselves or their loved ones as walk-ins. There is no moving on for those that are suffering that deep loss, where they feel half their soul is dead. Them still surviving is already one admirable step of moving forward without leaving their loved ones behind, that passed on behind them without a second thought. It takes pure love and strength to do this, especially if they are struggling in more ways than one. There is no judging of those who can move on. So why should there be judgment of those that cannot? Please, if you are a practitioner, do not just assume and presume to put these words into the mouths of your loved ones that you are bringing through, just because it makes sense to you to do it that way. Well, it's not making sense to the awaiting loved one you're reading for at all, when what actually comes through is exactly what they need to hear. Let them hear it. Be careful. Do not filter. Truly work with honesty, integrity, and real compassion with those loved ones left behind, awaiting the return of the ones that passed away. Is working this way the norm? Unfortunately not, no. It's harder and it's more work and it's unpredictable, but it's honorable. And is anything really normal in this universe if one dares to truly open their hearts and their minds? Miracles are not out of this world, if and when one truly believes. Thank you for letting me. I'll get off my soapbox now, but thank you for letting me share with you all what I have learned. This is all very real. Thank you. I love you all.